Afternoon all, welcome to the United Man. My name is Shane Leonce. Been wanting to start getting my points of view across for some time now. With so much going on with Man United at the moment, with the board, the Glazers, Ed Woodward, Solskjaer coming in. There's obviously a lot of upheaval and uncertainty with the club at the moment. So what I wanted to go through is what's the problem with Man United. And within this segment, I'm just going to go through points of view in terms of how there is possibilities of actually fixing the many problems with Man United. So going to do my best to highlight some areas where it's key and it's obvious where there are issues and how we can possibly fix them. Guys, feel free to comment below. There's going to be some questions going to be putting across as well, which it's a two-way thing. So put your answers in the comments below. Let's get into it. It's if I start with high character traits, by that I mean it's I suppose attributes within characters and players that can't be put into a statistic column. So those things being, for example, will to win, work rates, genuine quality, passion, toughness, spirit to fight, and leadership. With that being said, we've had that in abundance in the past, as you all know, going back to the days of Roy Keane. But just wanted to go through Roy Keane, Brian Robson, all those kind of guys, but just wanted to go through a list of players that have left the club in recent times and times gone by, but those players haven't been replaced. And you can kind of see there's a void within the Man United setup at the moment of those kind of qualities that stem beyond the stats, as I was saying. Just to go through a few, you got Nemanja Vidic, Rio Ferdinand, Gary Neville, Jaap Stam, Dennis Irwin, Peter Schmeichel, Edwin van der Sar, Wayne Rooney, Patrice Evra, Cristiano Ronaldo, Michael Carrick, Darren Fletcher, Scholesy, Andy Cole, Giggsy, as I mentioned before, Roy Keane, David Beckham. All these players have left the team, as I say, I suppose over the last decade and beyond. But key point is like I say, in the high character traits that were they were in Man United within those players and not since been replaced. Obviously, managing all those guys was Sir Alex Ferguson, and working alongside him was David Gill. Now, with them two leaving at the same time, and a lot of those players walking out the door with, as I say, in the last 5-10 plus years, that's left a massive void within Man United in terms of real leadership and, as I mentioned, high character traits. Wanted to touch on also the club structure. By that I mean, with Ed Woodward, there's a sense of he is a businessman linked to the financial side of things. With times gone by, with Alex running the show, Sir Alex running the show, he's sort of put an umbrella over all that kind of thing and run that closely with David Gill. Obviously looks after the business and monetary side of things. But since Ed Woodward's come in and the Glazers and whatnot, and obviously Sir Alex has left, the lines have kind of blurred over recent times. So it's just really putting a point forward that I believe if we are to continue to build, restart and build, we need to really keep the business separate from footballing matters, whereby obviously we're looking at a technical director. We've heard Darren Fletcher's name being mentioned. But like I said, it's keeping the transfer separate, what the club's needs, what's beneficial to the club in terms of, okay, Ed Woodward kind of feels like he was always going for the marquee signings, not specifically to the need of Manchester United, but more so, that's a big, massive name. The fans will love that. Gareth Bale, Paul Pogba, those kind of names. The most, I suppose, high profile, really effective signing that I believe we've made was Robin Van Persie, where he led us to our last Premier League title, 30 goals that season in total. So again, there wasn't a massive marquee signing. It was kind of towards the end of his career, but he was a big marquee name, well known in Premier League, obviously with Arsenal. Moving on, just wanted to look at the style of play. Now, the style of play, people may not think it's that important, but I always say, okay, what was Man United of old? Attacking flair, going at teams, devastating them on the counter-attack, overwhelming them. We're going to score one more than you. 5-4, 5-3, those kind of games. But now, I think if you looked at the last 5 games that we played in the league, I think we scored, 2 goals in the last 5 games. And if you count the Barcelona game before that, that was 2 goals in the last 6 games. However, we were conceding goals. We conceded 10 goals in the last 5 games. And if you put the Barcelona game on top of that, of course, 13 goals in the last 6 games. That being said, would that have been Man United of old? We would have scored 5, 6, 7 goals if necessary to get the result. We don't seem like we have the ability or the players to actually do that at the moment. So that's why I'm touching on the style of play. With the style of play, that brings in, right, we're a counter-attacking team. We're a attacking team, as we used to be. Wing play, wing backs getting forward, crossing the ball in like Gary Neville used to do. There's no real identity to how we play at the moment. So that's why I'm touching on the subject. Okay, what's gonna be our go-to? What's gonna be our A plan? What's gonna be our B plan? At the moment, we've got a mishmash of players from Moyes, Van Gaal, Mourinho, and Solskjaer, where they've all had their own ideals and brought in players, but haven't really been given enough time to stamp their authority. Okay, this is how we're gonna play now. This is what happens when you change your managers frequently. So stick with Ollie for now. Let him bring in his style of play and the players he needs to obviously combat that. As I mentioned before, I think we need to look at high character personnel and leadership and genuine quality. I think the only player with any real, I'd say, world-class ability would be Paul Pogba. He's certainly got ability, as everyone knows, but for one reason or another, isn't able to put together a run of form or games consistently to say, right, he is world-class midfielder. Too inconsistent, work rate isn't there. Leadership that you see him displaying at France and when he was at Juventus, you've not really seen that at Man United on a consistent basis. So, yeah, hence I'll say we need a style of play and to bring in players to match that as well. Moving forward, obviously, I think a big thing was when, obviously, Sir Alex left and Dave Moyes came in, he done away with a lot of the coaching staff with René Meulensteen, Mike Phelan, people like that. That had a massive effect because obviously these guys have been at the club for a long time as well, and they had Man United's ethos and the way of play ingrained in them, and that was passed down to the players and made sure standards were kept up there, as opposed to now where it just seems like we're not really working as a team, as a unit, or working for each other, or indeed the badge. So yeah, I think the coaching staff was an issue. I think we're addressing that now with Solskjaer, bringing back Mike Phelan, obviously Michael Carrick's in the backroom staff as well. So we seem to be building back up the backroom staff to a good level where they've got an understanding of the club, how it works, how we want to be, and obviously, like I say, them putting those standards into the players and going on from there. We have to ask the question, is Solskjaer the right man for the job? You've heard my kind of half answer to that in terms of me saying, right, give him time. Give him time. Give him the opportunity to get the players to fit a style that he wants to play with Man United. Now, we do know, I suppose, that he wants to be able to aggressively attack, be able to, if you like, do things the old Man United way in terms of dominating, where we always seem to be at the moment, or over the past few years, conceding a lot of possession and sort of being a counter-attacking team, but they're not really. So hence why I say give Solskjaer some time, let him have the opportunity to get rid of a lot of the deadwood that's there, as we all know, and bring in hopefully some real quality. But I think we're going to struggle within those lines in terms of bringing in quality of the highest ilk. By that I mean, I suppose, well-known names, because we don't have Champions League football next year. So we need to consider that as well. That being said, as I said, to give Solskjaer an opportunity to get rid of some players and bring some in, I've sort of put together a list of players that I feel we should and can bring in. I've gone for, in terms of players being brought in, I believe we should focus on technical ability. I think gone are the days where you look at the Premier League and think, right, we need big, strong, quick players only. That's gone the way of the buffalo. I think with City coming in and sort of dominating how they have done, and obviously looking at the amount of points that they amassed this season, along with Liverpool, with obviously 1 point between them, they've got a lot of small, young, technically gifted players that aren't the most rapid, that aren't the strongest, that aren't the best in the air, but technically gifted. And obviously they've got their own style of play. Hence why I'm saying, not to say that we all need to follow that suit, but we need some technical ability as well in order to have better ball retention, so we're not giving up so much possession each game. That being said, let's get into the list of players I feel we should bring in. I've looked at Aaron Wan-Bissaka from Crystal Palace to address the massive issue we have and have had at right back. I've seen him play probably about 3 or 4 times this season. There was one particular game where Crystal Palace were playing Man City, and he was up against Leroy Sané. This kid, Wan-Bissaka, he's a bad boy. He really is. He's got the technical ability, but he's got the raw physical attributes as well to deal with the quickness of the Premier League and the physicality of the Premier League. He had Leroy Sané in his pocket that game, and he's got great potential. He's only 21, so opportunity for improvement there as well going forward. I really like the look of this kid, so yeah, definitely Wan-Bissaka for me. I've gone for a first choice and a second choice centre back. If we can get them both, then brilliant. But yeah, I've got to be realistic. I've gone for Raphael Varane. I was glad to see him in the World Cup really solidify his place in the world as a world-class centre-back. It was immense. It was immense. And as I said, the raw physical attributes, he's got that in abundance. This guy is rapid, quick. There will be few and far between, if any, strikers that will be outpacing him. But he's also technical. He's also technically gifted. He can bring the ball out of defence, a la Rio Ferdinand. He's good at reading the ball and a brilliant tackler. As I said, his World Cup performances kind of stapled his ability. That was my first choice centre back. Second would be Kalidou Koulibaly at Napoli. The man's a beast. If you're talking raw physicality, this is him in abundance. He's very strong in the tackle. He is, let's say, more than competent in the air. I remember, Sir Alex, there was a time when we was playing Mikel Silvestre. He was playing at centre back, and the amount of games after the games, Sir Alex was like, we need to cut out the individual errors. He didn't mention Silvestra's name, but we all knew who he was talking about. So that being said, Koulibaly is not one for making, the simple errors in the games where you can look back there and you say, yeah, I trust my centre back. So he's also very solid in that kind of Jaap Stam ilk as well. I've gone for a winger, a flying Welshman. His name's Daniel James. See him in the Championship a couple of times this season. Didn't really know of him until I'd seen him playing, and then he's quick. Then you realise how quick the kid is. He's rapid. He is rapid. Technically, he's good. Obviously, room for improvement. But when you're starting with pace as your go-to move, you always got half a chance. So, as I say, he's technically good. Can obviously get better. More of a winger. Wing play. We've missed wing play for so long. So if we could get this lad in and get him flying down either wing, brilliant. So yeah, that's Daniel James. I've gone for some more technical ability in the centre of the park in Marco Verratti. Very slight in height, his stature, but he's got fight in him. He's got a lot of fight in him. He's a determined character. You can see it was on the pitch. Also technically very gifted in terms of ball retention, passing ability, range, creativity. The guy's got it all. So I'd love to see Marco Verratti come to Man United. How plausible that is, I don't know yet, but we shall see. I know one that is more of a potentially viable is Ruben Neves. Wolves. I suppose a lot of people would have seen him in the Championship season before. Obviously, last season, this season, would have got to see a lot more of him. Range of passing, brilliant. Good in the tackle. He's got good mobility. For me, he's the short and long-term replacement for Nemanja Matic. Would love to see him there. The guy's got a banger of a shot from distance as well, a la Paul Scholes, Roy Keane back in the day as well. Next on my list would be João Felix. Like to see him come in. He's just got that graceful glide about him. He drops the shoulder, glides past the man, not so much in the ilk of doing million step overs and trying to go past someone. He's got an eye for a pass as well. Gets goals from midfield as well, which always helps. Next on the list is Bruno Fernandes. He has got 20 goals in 30 games from midfield. Central midfield, central attacking midfield, inverted winger from the left side. 20 goals in 30 games. Okay, yeah, we'll have some of that. Lastly, I've gone for a striker, Nicolas Pepe. Plays in the French league. He's got a very clinical air about his finishing, whereby you're kind of thinking when he's through on goal, he's bagging a goal. And the last person that we had who I felt that about was probably Robin van Persie. And the ultimate finisher for me is Ruud van Nistelrooy back in the day. So this lad, he's 23, I believe, but yeah, he's a dangerous finisher. I've also compiled a list of players that I believe should leave the club. This one was a bit easier for obvious reasons. Starting with the players that have been confirmed that they're leaving. We start with Antonio Valencia leaving on a free. Ander Herrera going to PSG as well. Wasn't too happy with that one, with the fact that we've just signed, I think it's Phil Jones, Chris Smalling on longer term contracts and letting Ander Herrera go on a free. Also, who I'd let go is Phil Jones as well. He started off looking promising when he came in from Blackburn, but injuries obviously affected him and taking his toll on him, so I'd have him out. Chris Smalling, it's not good enough. Is that long enough? Marcos Rojo, I don't know how this guy stayed at Man United for so long. Is a red card waiting to happen with these two-footed tackles? Yeah, get rid. Ashley Young, fan favourite, and another converted winger to right back. Stroke of genius, not. Nemanja Matic, he's past it now. I think we need a bit more mobility, we need a bit more creativity out of that position as well. So I was a fan, but yeah. Obvious one, Alexis Sanchez. The guy just came for the money. He don't business about playing football for Man United. Get rid. And possibly a little bit more controversial one is Anthony Martial. I was saying about high character traits. Keep hearing negative things about his character, attitude, willingness to work rate. You can get good value for him, I suppose, in the transfer market. So bring in that cash and let him go. Just to touch on also, I'd heard whispers of people mention about let David De Gea go. Do you guys think he should be let go? I don't believe he should do. If it was me playing behind that defence for so long, being Man United's player of the year so many times, I'd probably be fed up as well and be ready to go on my holidays end of this season. That's probably what it was. He's just shut down saying, nah, had enough. See you later. I'm going to go on my holidays. Start again next season when I've got a bit of defence to play behind. So, nah, keep David De Gea. Unless you have unless you have a different opinion, let me know. With that being said, all those players going out, coming in, it'd be great if it happened. We shall see. But that gives us a new core, new foundation to start with. So that gives the opportunity to get those new players in, keep blooding the youngsters like Mason Greenwood, Teeth Chong, Angel Gomez, them kind of players. Hopefully, start building something again and get Man United back to where they need to be. That brings a close to the video. If you've got any comments, ideas, different points of views, anything else you'd like to discuss, just leave it in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, share, leave a like. Thanks for your time, guys. Take care.